Howdy everybody, it's Amy here from Amy Sparkly Diamond Painting, and I am back with the results of the giveaway. I do apologize for it taking me a little while, but with my hand issues, I'm trying not to complain too much about that. But it means writing and typing comments and filling out a spinning wheel and all that has been very difficult still. So I got my hubby to help me out, and that means I'm not going to do the whole video of the random number picking out and all that, but I do have a winner for our little seal painting fairy diamond painting. I just did a diamond painting video for our little bitty seal cross stitch kit. So I placed an order for this one and bought my own copy, and then I got one free in one of the product review packages from Painting Fairy. So I did a giveaway for this one, and you had to put on a comment on that particular video your favorite animal. So with this kit, you're going to get a Painting Fairy toolkit as well as the frame to go with it and some of the literature from Painting Fairy. So our winner, let me go ahead and turn my light. It was reflecting on the box here and everything, so I kept my light turned. But the winner is, here we go, I got it written down, Jody Wade 8651. So congratulations, Jody Wade. You can reach out to me at my email, which I will put below, and that's sjtwxgirl@gmail.com. So I'll also put it in the link below. But Jody Wade 8651, congratulations, you are the winner of this Painting Fairy cross stitch kit. But don't worry if you didn't get this one, because we're going to have another opportunity coming up, because I have another duplicate that came in another product review this week. So stay tuned for that in the near future. So this won't be your only chance. I suspect we'll be doing a fair amount of giveaways coming up. I need to set up a schedule to do maybe once a month or so of at least cross-stitch giveaways, because with my hand issues, I'm trying to clear out some of the older stuff and just keep the stuff that I really want to do, because I'm going to have to be a little bit more careful about what I choose to do. So anyway, we won't dwell on that. We will move along. So Jody, please contact me and I will get that shipped out to you this week. So what do we have for you today? We have some more Painting Fairy cross stitch, because I am falling behind a little bit. So this one came in probably close to 2 weeks ago. And Painting Fairy, we do a couple different things as content creators that are affiliates with Painting Fairy, which I am one, so I do appreciate your support in that. But sometimes we get a designated amount of money to spend on the site, so we can pick what we want, and that's what this one is. And then at other times we get discount or free offers for kits where we only pay the shipping on certain ones that they want to promote, and I have some of those as well. But I thought I'd get through this one first because it arrived first. I have 2 more that arrived this week. I can't keep up, which is a good thing. Good thing for y'all and good thing for me as well. But this is 2 boxes here, and part of this they did provide for me, but usually I make my own purchase along with those deals that they send, because if I'm going to pay for shipping, then I try to get a few things coming in. Plus it makes the videos go a bit longer for you all and gives you a chance to see something that you might like if you don't like what I picked. So let's break into this. We have 2 boxes here. We'll start with this one because it's a little bit smaller. So I think that's where the littler ones will be in. So we'll start here. So Painting Fairy does ship in a box, and these are inside of the box. So these storage boxes for the kits are very well protected, which means the kits are protected so they won't get wet as they travel to you. So very, very nice boxes. So we have, okay, we've got one in here and a frame popped out. We might go ahead and peek in the other box because I think that's my big one. Yes, that is the big one. So we'll go ahead and see what's in here. But we have another frame. So what's in here? This one is stuffed pretty full here. So, okay, that's the one with all the goodies and the toolkit and the smaller kit. So we'll start here. And I know you've seen the toolkit many times, but we will do a quick view for those that are new or may not have seen it. They have standardized the toolkit now, so kind of early on they were testing different things, but now they've standardized what they send, so you will get the same thing. This is not just for content creators, this is for everybody that places an order. So you get these really nice needles that'll work for just about all the kits there. So they are size 28. You get 3 of the floss bobbin winders here that you can use for multiple ways, either putting your floss on them and writing the number on the outside, or using them for parking. We have 3 finger protectors here, silicone finger protectors, which they do have little holes, so you do have to be careful, but I typically use the tip of my finger when I'm pushing a needle through, so they work pretty well for me. And then we have the really nice gold scissors, and these are good quality scissors, so it's surprising to me still that you get free scissors with your kit, because normally you don't get anything but needles with most counted cross stitch kits. So it's really nice to have a good pair of sharp scissors. So that's the toolkit. And then we will see what's inside here. Of course, we have our literature here. This one talks about all the different types of stitches and gives you the translation here so that you can read the chart. I've never had any trouble reading it, but if you do, some of the lesser known stitches might be kind of confusing to you. So that's there, as well as the washing instructions here, because these are stamped cross stitch designs, which means the ink washes away when you're done. You don't want to get them wet before you're done though, because you will lose the ink. But this will give you the instructions for washing it off. And then we have white this time. So Painting Fairy does make their own floss, and it is equivalent to DMC. It is 100% cotton, long staple, mercerized cotton, the really good stuff. And it is the same thickness as DMC, but it's a lot more affordable. So 30 cents a skein on their site before discounts, and you can buy full sets if you want to have a master set. It's a much more affordable way to do that, but I do love their floss. And then you have information about the company on that card. And then finally, here is their information about how they make the floss and do the color matching and all that good stuff. So, okay, let's look at the kits. That's what you're really here for. So I'm peeking in here to see what we've got. We'll start with the little one here. So I'm trying to remember which part of this order was product review and which I paid for, but really it doesn't matter because in the end it was a dollar amount, so I really can't attribute it to just one kit. So we're going to start with the little one here, and that is a cute little cactus. I'm pretty sure I picked this one out. I don't see any that I didn't pick out in here so far. There could be something else hidden there. Yeah, I see. Okay, there's a couple kits in here. There's 3 kits in there. Okay, we have several to go through. So this is a beautiful cactus with a Southwest style there on the pot. Really, really cute. I love cactus. And that is a prickly pear cactus. And I may have told the story before about trying to get a purple prickly pear, but this one has kind of special meaning to me there because it does have the purple and it's in bloom. But just a quick version of the story, or this video will go on forever. So I really like going to Big Bend National Park. It's only a few hours drive, probably about 4.5. But beautiful, beautiful open land, lots of hiking, some mountains in there, just an amazing landscape. And they have purple prickly pear everywhere. Well, you can't really steal plants from a national park. They have a lot of cactus there. But I did take one pad from one purple prickly pear and brought it home to grow my own purple prickly pear, because that's a tongue twister, because they were so pretty. Well, I put it in the pot and grew it, and it came out green. So I looked it up later and found out that it's the soil, the lack of minerals in the soil, or the different minerals in the soil that turn a cactus purple. So next time I go, I need to take a bucket of dirt home with me so I can have a purple prickly pear. But anyway, it's really a beautiful sight to see with all the purple ones out there. So this, I saw this and I had to get it because of the purple color and the Southwest style and all that. So this one is not too big either. I think this, I have one big one in this set, a medium one, and a few small ones. So I've been leaning toward the small ones lately. So we'll start out here. We'll unfold this and see. I picked a 16 count for this one. And we'll start here with the chart to look at the colors here and see all the different stitches on this one. Mostly full stitch. We have a few blends in there. We have, it looks like 39. I think it's just one page because I only feel one page per pattern. Yeah. So 39 different symbols. So not too many colors, but we have a couple of blends here, starting here where you do one strand of each. We do have a French knot in there with one strand there, the B5200, and then we do have a couple of half stitches here, just a few. Those usually show up at the bottom here. So where are the half stitches? Actually, they're not showing up easily on here because these may be down here, but it gives a little bit of shading detail, some texture to it. And I think the white French knots are going to be showing up in here. And then we have the back stitch here for all the little spines of the cactus. So several different colors here of back stitch, as you can see with all those different color symbols. And the number of strands are different. So one strand for French knot here and 2 strands for the back stitch on that color. But we also have that color with 1 strand of back stitch and some with 1s and 2s there. So these different symbols instead of straight lines, they're just to help you be able to tell the different colors apart. They're all back stitch here. They're all the same back stitch. It's just they're using different symbols so you can tell what color is what on the chart. So here is our canvas, and this is a 16 count, so it is printed kind of small there, but hopefully I can zoom in enough and hopefully it's clear enough that you can see the printing is very, very clear on this one. And it does look straight. One of the things I like to do is check the top horizontal and vertical line and make sure it is straight across without moving into any of the squares. So it does look indeed printed perfectly straight, because that's important. I've had some from other companies that weren't quite so straight, and it caused me trouble when I was stitching them. So this looks really, really good. 80 wide by 104 high. So even though it looks kind of small, it's actually a decent sized stitch count there because of the fact that it is 16 count. So Painting Fairy, because the paper is used for all their different kits, they don't put the stitch count on here. They put them on your canvas. So that's how you can know. And what I'm getting started on, I need to go through all my kits and organize them in some way that makes more sense, because my organization worked when I had fewer, but now that I have a lot of kits, I need to make some sense out of them in some sort of storage containers. So what I'm going to do with all my Painting Fairy is write the stitch count here on the outside so I can just look at the package and remember what the stitch count was. Sometimes you can see it within the package while it's folded up, but sometimes you can't. So I am going to write the stitch count on the outside when I organize and go through my collection. So that is the canvas, nice small one. Here we've got a yellow card. It has the Painting Fairy branding on it, and not a whole lot of colors with this one. So we do have a nice little red bow tying them together. But you can see not a lot of floss because this is 16 count, so that's 2 strands. But it goes a long way on the 16 count, and we have lots of yellows in this one. And there's some of those reds and oranges, a little bit of purple even. And the greens and browns and the flowers and the kind of pinkish purple tone there to the top of our prickly pear pads here. So not a whole lot of colors because a floss card here is 30, so there's only 28 different colors with these 2 left open because there are other stitches here on this, so sometimes it looks like more than it really is. So even though there were 39 listed on here with the blends and the back stitches and stuff like that, it actually only comes out to 28 colors, so that's not too bad at all. But we're gonna move along here. We're not gonna dwell too long because it looks like there's a lot in here, so we're gonna keep going. But that one just was kind of off to the side by itself, so I thought I'd start there. But there's a few in here, so we're gonna have to see because I'm not even sure what's in here. Okay, let's go to this one. This is why I have a frame. That frame was part of a purchase here, so it wasn't a freebie, but this frame is going with this. So I've been getting these little round ones. I've shown a couple of them that I've completed. So I do like this set. They are done by Van Gogh, although some of them are Monet, and I haven't been buying those. I've been getting just every time I do an order, I get one more of these. So we have, I think this one is, oh, it's one of the flowers, why can't I think of it? Almond flowers, I think. Apricot, almond, something that starts with A. I'll have to look that up, but that is a reproduction of another Van Gogh painting. So I love these little ones again. So we will take a look. This one is 14 count. I've been getting the same count for all of these so that I have a nice set. One of these I have is a counted cross stitch. It's a magnet kit on plastic. So I might go ahead and buy that one as cross stitch as well to add to the set. But for now, I have one as a magnet. So these, nice and small, not too many colors here. We have 14 different symbols. They do have a lot of back stitch though because they are so tiny. They need a lot of back stitch in order to get the details in there. And we do have one French knot and one blend. So pretty simple here. So we'll look at the canvas. Now this one is kind of odd because they do print these smaller ones on smaller pieces that they have left. We have a huge extra on this side of this one. It's about a 2-inch border on the other sides. This one may be closer to 3 inches there. So the borders are usually very good with Painting Fairy, which helps you put them on a scroll frame or whatever, but this one has a lot of extra. I could like use that for other small Christmas ornaments or whatnot. So here is a close-up there of the printing. They again don't print the back stitch on there, so it looks kind of like a blob right now. But this one is really going to come alive with the back stitching here. So we have the little flowers there. All the back stitching is going to be outlining those flowers. So that one's cool. And this one, because it's so small, it's on the cardboard card, and it looks like 3, 6, 10 different colors there of DMC. So nice little small relaxing kit there. The browns for the stems, the white for the flowers, but look at those pretty shades of blue for the background. So that is my one there, and that's makes sense for the frame because those have been coming with frames, I noticed when I placed my last order for one. So that's what one of the small kits was. What do we have next? Let's see, I'm trying to remember everything I bought. We'll take a look at this one. I don't think there are any like freebies in this one. It looks like everything that I picked out here, which is cool because I have so many, but I thought he was adorable. So there's a whole series of these birds with hats. So very nice winter themed one. I have one here. 121 Stitch also sells these, but this is Little Fat Sparrow number 2. So I'd like to get more, but I couldn't remember exactly which one I purchased. They all have numbers on them so you can tell, but they have different, the same bird, same type of bird, but different little views of him turned different ways with his hat in the snow. But isn't that adorable? I couldn't resist the little fat bird there. So this one, it actually may be a 121 Stitch that they are selling as a partner, because look at this isn't normally the 121 Stitch outside, but it's also not the Painting Fairy branding. So I'm not completely sure about that. Maybe it's another company out there, or maybe they're just printing it for somebody else, because Painting Fairy does do printing for other companies as well, including the Stamped Stitch Club, which I have another order coming from them. So Stamped Stitch Club, based in Northern Ireland, and they do Painting Fairy as well for their printer. Very, very good quality kits. So we're going to look at the canvas here in a minute. We've got our threads. We'll start here. This one is a little bit bigger, but it looks like even though the outside looked a little bit different, everything on the inside is the same here. So we do have 47 different symbols, but one of the things I see right off the bat, because this one is a little bit bigger, there is no back stitch and no French knots. So if you're not a fan of those, then this one would be a good size for a medium-sized kit without dealing with all of that. And it is a partial, it's not even a full coverage. So we do have a couple of the newer DMC colors on this one, but we have 47 different symbols, and we do have some blends in there starting about here with color 32 and going onward. Those are blends, but no other symbols for half cross or back stitch or anything like that. So here's a little hint of the pattern, and you can see no back stitch at all on there. So let's see what count we picked. We picked 14 count. So this is for the stitch count. It's a little bit faded on there, but that's a good thing. When you're washing these, you don't want that leftover ink to show. So it looks like 155 by 186. So it is a little bit bigger here, but still not too big, because you don't do the background, you just do the bird. But there he is. And if you wanted to, for the bottom here, I wouldn't want to. I think I'm going to fully stitch it all, but you could do the branch here in half cross if you wanted to make it just a little bit quicker. But I will do it as full stitch, because I think there's a lot of detail even in that branch down there. So let's take a look here. Close up of the printing, because we are starting to get into a larger number of symbols. So they do use more different background colors so you can tell them apart. We do have the legend on this side, and it looks like about 3 inches border all the way around here. So the bottom is maybe a little bit less, but still plenty to put on a frame. So that is our bird here. It looks like, not, because there aren't that many colors, I don't think the confetti is really high on this one either. You can see some of those details. Can't talk today. Some of the detail in that hat, but it doesn't look difficult, because you could take like this symbol, fill up your needle, and just go across and use it till it's over. So what we call ninja stitches are the single stitch of a color, and then you don't use it again until like you'd have one over here, and then one over here, and one over here. And you can't jump that far. You have to stop and start a bunch of times. That's what I consider high confetti or full of ninja stitches. And this one is not, because you can put a color in your needle and just go till it's used up on this one. So little bits of jogging from one color to the next through there, but definitely doable. And because this one is a little bit larger, it looks like we do have the plastic cards, and boy, that's a bright yellow. on our cards here. So we do have 2 floss cards, a few more colors here. We've got our nice little ribbon and lots of oranges on this one because of the bird's chest there. So let's look at the colors again. We have lots of yellows, lots of blues, some browns showing through there, little spots of green, but you can kind of see through here those colors coming through. So all the grays for the hat and the oranges for the bird's belly. So we have 33 colors, 30 on this card plus 3 on this one. Lots of empty space there to use that you can write down as you put a blend together. If you don't use it all, you can hang it on here and write the numbers. That's what I do with the extra spaces. Or if you have another project that you really need a card for, there's only 3 colors on this one. You could put them on floss drops and move them over and have a whole blank card here that you could use. So I'm going to be so full up with floss cards if I can ever finish any of these kits. So that one I picked out. And then this one, it's kind of funny. I picked this one out and then I was asking my oldest sister Tracy about kits that she wanted for Christmas or whatever to help her out, and this was one she picked out, so I wasn't completely sure on this one. So Tracy, this one's for you. This will be headed your way if you're watching. Hopefully you're not watching and you can be pleasantly surprised, but you did pick it out. So I wasn't completely sure about this one, but then while I was making an order, I thought, sure, why not? So look at all those cute little kitties. This is 100 colorful cats. So if you like to set goals, you could finish this one in a year, because with 100, that's one every few days, 3 to 4 days. You have a little leeway there. So you can try to shoot for, 1 or 2 cats a week and get it done by the end of the year. But this also has that interesting packaging here where we don't see the Painting Fairy brand. So I'm kind of puzzled about that still. But this one, we're getting a little bit bigger. And then we'll get bigger still here with the last 2 that we have over there. So when you get into the bigger ones, your pattern is protected in a separate bag. You get a bigger bag here. You get the hard floss holders, but you also get your pattern in a separate bag so that you don't lose all the pages. We have our little thing to keep our fabric dry there. We got jasmine scent, and our floss is now in a separate bag here, and then we have our kit. So the bigger you get on the kit, the bigger the stuff that comes with it. So this is a 14 count. Our stitch count is 245 by 318, it looks like. So we'll take a look here at our pattern. So this is resealable, nice little pattern holder here. So here is a close-up of what we got. 100 colorful cats. Not a lot of colors on this one. I guess cats don't typically come in rainbow colors. But there are some colors, so look at that. That's not too bad at all. That's only 27 different symbols there. We got 1 color that shows up in a half stitch, and because these kitties are small, we do have a few details that are going to come through in quarter stitches, probably like around the ears and maybe some of the points of the tails and all that. So you do need to do a few quarter stitches, which is just where you come up 1 hole and then go down through the middle and call it done. And then the back stitch going the opposite direction will fill in the rest, and that way you get a nice little triangle or diagonal of 1 color on one side and usually white or the background on the other side. So it just gives a little bit more detail. So don't worry about the quarter stitches. They're actually pretty easy. We have a couple French knots there because kitties do need to see, so I think all their eyes are either going to be, it looks like, white or black depending on the color of the cat. And then several different colors of back stitch on this one, but not a whole lot of range of colors. We don't have any blends on this one, but we do have a little bit of detail. So again, let's look here at the pattern, and you can see even though the cross stitch is big, all the little kitties are small, so we do have to use some of those quarter stitches to get the ears. And yes, all those eyes you see through there, those are going to be French knots. So we'll keep going here. Here's a sample of part of one of them. Isn't that kitty cute? I love it. Cute expression, but as I suspected there, it's the ears that are going to have the little details of the quarter stitches. The tails look pretty solid and straightforward, but the eyes as well, some of them have a little bit of stitching before you do the French knots there in the middle. So there's a hint of the pattern. And what I like to do with these, especially if they only have like one page for the symbol key, is I will put it like this on the back side and then put it in here, and you don't really need the pattern until you get to the back stitch part. So you can have it set up that way and you don't lose your pages, and you get your key on the back so it's easy to read. Now this one might be fun to do like the back stitch as you go. So when I say like 1 or 2 kitties a week, if you wanted to get it done in a year, I'd go ahead and complete the back stitch for each one as I finish each cat, and that way you're not overwhelmed with back stitching at the end of the project. So it's almost like doing 100 little cross stitch projects. So let's see what we got here. So here is our canvas, and yes, my hand is still very sore, so I'm being very careful with it. But here we go. That's a lot of cats. That is really cute. I'm kind of sad that I'm sending this to my sister now. I might have to get another one because I like the idea of just doing lots of little projects here. So you can't really cut them apart or anything, but you do have the pattern if you wanted to do them as individual cats. Maybe create a little book with them. You could use your own Ida cloth and use the pattern and floss for that, but definitely got all sorts of different colors on this one. You can see how bright orange the printing is on that one. Also some very bright yellows and greens. So it looks really easy to see. Look at that. He's like a pumpkin head cat there for Halloween. He's kind of funny, but very, very neon yellow color in there. But oh, they're so cute. Cute, cute, cute. Yeah, I'm not sure my sister's going to get this copy. Actually, I'll send this one to her. But I think I might have to buy another one of that one because those are adorable. So this would be a good pick-me-up at the end of a long day. Let's sit down and stitch a cat. And if you have very short week or very little time, you could do the tiny ones. Because this is stamped cross stitch, you could jump around wherever you want to. So depending on what kind of a week you're having, you could do little ones or big ones. So clever, clever. I love it. And I can see already all the bright colors. Now this one does feel like paper, but we don't have a ton of colors on this one. Let's see if I can figure out how to open. There we go. There it is. So we do only have one floss card. Not a lot of colors there. That would be, looks like 27 different colors, but it is on the cardboard. We do have our ribbon here, and we have enough black in this one that we do have a separate skein of 310 black here, and it is labeled there. So lots of white, lots of black, but lots of purples. I think these cats are going to look pretty interesting because there's quite a bit of red here as well as blues. Look at all that blue on that one, and some oranges and browns. So these aren't typical colors for cats. Clearly a lot of little patterns and details in there, but this one looks like a lot of fun. So really, really nice choice there, sister. So I will send that one to its new home. I'm going to go ahead and take a minute to put this one in the bag because my pile's getting big and I don't want to mix up any of these. So this one, because it is going to a new home, go ahead and bag it up. Okay, we've got 2 left here. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. We'll go for this one. We're getting more into the larger landscape types. So I believe either this one or the next one was the one I picked for my product review. But in the end, it's all a wash because of how you check out and how the money goes and everything. So this is a beautiful landscape. I believe it's maybe a Ukrainian pattern. Originally, I'm not real sure. This one is called Autumn Country Cottage, or I should say Ukrainian artist, because I believe I've seen this one maybe on 121 Stitch as well. So we'll take a look here. This one is a little bit bigger and definitely heavier in the confetti, but I was kind of hoping that we're also getting half cross stitches in this one. So we have a different one here. This is, put my glasses on or I can't read these. Okay, osmanthus there. It smells good. That one still has the scent in it. So we do have our nice pattern folder here. We've got all our floss here, and we do have our cross stitch, and I was going to peek first here. This is, I picked 18 count on this one. I thought those squares looked pretty small. I wanted to test 18 count, so this is 300 by 248 for the stitch count, but it is solid full coverage cross stitch, which means no back stitch or anything on this one. But I love the sky, the impressionist look to it with the brush strokes and everything. The sky was my favorite, and it takes up almost half of that cross stitch. So we got our little cottage there. Just love the colors and the style on this one. So let's see what we have here. Since it is larger, we have a lot more colors, which means we have a simple chart that looks like this. So they started printing these with the blue on this side, I noticed. But this, they put in the front for these larger ones that have a lot of symbols. They group all the same symbol together so that you can see them easier and determine which color is which a lot easier. And this can also help you as well, the little color hint there on the side. So if you have, I'm trying to look, they're all pretty easy to tell apart, but say you had a number 2 here that you couldn't tell if it was purple on your canvas or that bluish greenish color. If you had trouble distinguishing the two, you can also look at this as well to see, but those 2 colors are actually pretty close, but that one's a lot lighter than that one. So I'm trying to look for some that are a little bit harder to tell. I'm not really seeing any, so it looks pretty easy. They've started adding these background colors here, like the greens and the yellows, to make it much easier to tell the symbols apart. So just looking over this, I see a number 100. There's a 103. So we definitely have a lot more colors and symbols on this one, and it does go on here to a second page, and we do have some blends in there as well. So that is the key that I use when I'm working on one of these, and I will again flip it over on the back. But here is our main list by DMC order. So I can see here that colors 1 through 47 there are single colors, and then a ton of blends, because we do indeed go all the way to 103. So no special stitches of any kind, just straight cross stitch, no half stitch, but I might do some half stitch, we'll see on that one, because I think some of the background can be shaded a little bit lighter possibly, but we do have lots and lots of blends on this one. And here's a little hint of the pattern so you can see it is indeed full coverage. We're getting into a bit more confetti, a bit more of what we call the ninja stitches and all that. So I'm trying to see, like this symbol here, this color T. If you started there in the top corner, you do that 1 stitch and then you don't see that color again for quite some time. So I'm looking, that's a different color there. So yeah, you'd start and stop there. There's one like way over there. But since this is 18 count, we can stretch a little bit further before we end our thread. So we're gonna take a look at that, because usually I stretch about 1 inch is my rule of thumb. Well, that could be different depending on whether it's 18 squares per inch or 11 squares per inch. So I don't do it by stitch count, I do it by length. So about 1 inch is how far I'll go. Unless there's really a grouping that's maybe a couple inches away, then I'll kind of wind the thread underneath stitches on the back to secure it. So we'll do that at the end. I'm getting out of order here. So this is definitely a longer video, so thank you for your patience on that. Oh, let's put it right side up. Lots of border on this one. I can see that right away. See all that border, and the fabric is nice and soft. So I was worried 18 count would be really stiff, but this actually feels very soft. So we have our legend both on this side and the bottom because it's so large, but once you put this in a frame, you won't be able to read the legend, so you need the paper pattern for that. But this is 18 count, and I can see it. I kind of wanted more of a small tapestry look, and that's why I picked the 18 count for this one. So I could do some of this with just half stitch. We're going to look at the picture again here for reference to see what I'm thinking on this. So some of the lighter colors here in the sky, except the sky is half of the picture. So maybe I won't. Maybe I will do it full. I could do like 1 strand of full cross for the sky and then 2 strands for the ground and the house, and that way the house and the ground would kind of leap forward with the sky being kind of a little more subtle in the background. I may try that. So full cross everywhere, but just one strand or thread for the background and 2 for the foreground. So that might work. Won't really save any time, but I think it would give a neat look to this one. So we'll take another look here at a different part of it, but definitely more chance here for ninja stitches and stopping and starting threads a lot, and parking. This would probably be a good candidate to do some parking, which I do have a tutorial section if you're curious about that, where I talk about parking and show some examples of that and what I mean by that. If you're unfamiliar with that term, it just means where you start a thread, you do a few stitches, and then you just kind of leave it hanging and then pick it up again later. So you can do it like more systematic. So do square by square as you go down or across or diagonally. And it just makes these high detailed ones a little bit easier to tackle because you're only focusing on little tiny parts of it at a time. So love that one. And I love the 18 count. It makes it a much more reasonable size for like framing and all that. So I'm curious to see how much thread they've given me. Oh, I'm trying to get them mixed up here. That's our bird. So they usually say how many count. This one says 18 count or 20 count. And it looks like quite a bit. I think that you're okay using 2 strands for 18 count, but I may adjust some of that as I stitch it on the number of strands I use. 20 count, definitely you want to use only 1 thread, otherwise it's going to be really thick. But this package of thread here does say on it 18 or 20 count. So we'll take a look if we can find the opening, because these are plastic cards, but I see lots of floss. Lots of floss. I shouldn't be talking over my thread opening there, but there is a lot of floss here with this one, even though it is a smaller kit in the terms of 18 count. So we do have our ribbon here. Looks like 3 different floss cards, so that's 30, 45, well, 88. I should just subtract 2. So 30, 60, 90 minus 2 there, 88 different DMC colors, but with all the blends, it comes to 103 different symbols on there. So lots of browns and grays on this one, and blues and blue grays. for the sky. So especially these colors here, some of the newer DMC numbers. There are those lighter purplish grays. Gonna be really, really pretty. I can't wait to get to that one. That is definitely my style there. And again, even though this one goes on to 2 pages, I will flip this to the back like this and put it in like that so I can at least see most of the symbols on there, but I can open it up if I need to see those other symbols. Okay, let's go for our final one here. Now this was alone in the other box. And you'll see what I was kind of thinking the same thing when I picked this one out as well. I guess I was really looking for impressionist kind of artwork here. So this was my other one here. And this is, I'm trying to look at the title here, Mixed Embroidery in the Jingnan Mist and Rain. So this is a Chinese artwork. So I believe I'm probably butchering the name of the city there, but there it is, Jiangnan. I'm not really sure. So this is a Chinese themed cross stitch, but we got our fabric, our pattern, and lots of thread. This is the biggest one here of the whole batch. So we've gone small to large. We have same one. And this one I picked a 14 count, 450 by 320 stitches. So the pattern itself isn't that giant, but because I picked 14 count, it is going to be bigger than the other one. So we'll start here and get some of the glare off of it so you can see it better. So another weather-related impressionist art style there with the almost a fog. So you can see kind of the foggy look there through the trees and on the water. Looks like a really foggy, cool morning in the fall. So we got lots of autumn colors on this one and just beautiful. Love the way the trees here are reflecting in the water. The little houses there, just gorgeous picture. So yeah, I couldn't resist that one. So again, we have our list here by symbol so that we can help tell them apart. But this is a full coverage, no specialty stitches or anything like that. And I see a 106 there, so this one does go on to 2 pages. Let's see how many colors there. Yes, indeed, 106 was the largest number here, so not quite as many blends as the last one, I think, but still quite a few. So we have 65 colors that are just individual single colors, and then from 66 to 106, those are all blends with 1 stitch of each. There, and this is 14 count, so it's 2 strands again that I will be using, so 1 of each. But 14 to 11 count is 3 strands, so it gets a little bit trickier with blends. So I prefer not to go to 11 count for a lot of these tapestry type ones. Now I do like Mona Lisa brand for 11 count and 9 count because they're made for that kind of count, but something like this with the blends, you really want 14 or smaller. So one interesting thing to note, here's our first page of the pattern, and there is, even with that many colors, this is a large area of that single color. So if you don't feel like thinking too hard, you can stitch on that part. I was kind of curious when I saw, because the sky is very light colored there, but because it is full coverage, you are still stitching that sky. So that can be the mindless stitching, and then the rest here, if you feel like doing more detailed stitching, you can stitch on those parts. But I'm not seeing a whole lot of confetti, at least on this first page, but since it's the sky mainly, we're not going to. I'm trying to peek ahead here. Okay, whenever you have trees, you're gonna have confetti. So there's what it looks like as we get toward the house and the trees. So a little bit more detail there, but nice large areas of not too detailed as well. So let's see if this will fit in the camera. I'm not sure it will, because this is a 14 count. So it is definitely a bigger piece of fabric. And look at the border on that. Wow, they must have just been near the end when they were printing this, because that's a lot of border on the bottom and the top. The top has quite a bit as well. I hear my kiddo getting up, so I'm gonna try to end this video here pretty shortly. We're near the end anyway, but we got to get my kiddo to work here this afternoon. But there is at least half of it. You can see some of the more detail there around the house. There's our house, as well as the trees and bushes. So a mix of confetti and solid stitching there, but it looks all very clear for 106 different symbols. I can still see them pretty well, but I'm going to go ahead and fold this up. We'll get to the end here and look at the floss real quick. So for the colors, we're going to see a lot of white and off-white, a lot of yellows and gold colors. It looks like a lot of grays and dark colors. The trees are going to have a lot of dark as well. And find the opening here. There it is. All right, so 2 strands. So we do have a lot of floss here. And here is our background color. It's kind of a very, very pale white, or pale white. Yeah, what's that? Almost an off-white. So 3865 is not the bright white. It is this slightly ivory colored white there for the background. So it is worth doing it, because you could technically decide not to stitch the background, but I don't recommend it for this one. I think it needs that subtle shading through there, and so I recommend stitching the background. Even though it looks like white on white, it is kind of a very, very pale ivory, so it will make a difference. So we do have several floss cards here. We have 30, 60, actually it's only 65 colors there, so a lot of the different colors are happening with blends, it looks like. Let me double check. Yeah, so just 2 and a little bit of a third floss card there, but you can see all the grays and blues there, lots and lots of them. There's our 310 black, a fair amount of that for the trees, but lots of gray shades as I expected, and the golds, you can see those on this side showing up there. More blues and browns on that one, and gold. So I love how the colors look on this one. So that's the last one. Did you make it all the way through? No new giveaways on this particular video. I didn't get any freebie little kits with this one, but that's quite all right, because I get so much already, and they did give me a credit towards this order, so I believe it was either this one or the other one that I could count as free in this one. But I know a couple of the videos that I have coming up next will have some extra goodies in them, because I did peek, and it's one I already have, so that's how I know there's another giveaway coming. So we'll put this away. So just for review, we got this large one here, and then we got this one. Those are my 2 favorite ones from the set, my impressionist nature ones. We got our cute little bird, and we have our little Van Gogh, and our little cactus. And then, boy, I almost ran out of room here. Nope, that's our giveaway one. I put the kitties over here, but I also put them away in such a way that you can't see it. So our 100 different cats. So that was a big order, and it did take a little bit longer because of that. So I recommend at this point, as we're getting toward Christmas, if you want to place an order, you might do so as soon as you can. and try to make the orders maybe a little bit smaller, because the smaller orders do ship a little bit faster than these large ones. I had several different kits with several different counts, so it did take a little bit longer for them to put this one together to send it my way. And one last reminder, Jody Wade 8651, congratulations. I will get this little seal to you as soon as you can send me your shipping information. And I do have my links below. I am an affiliate for Painting Fairy, so I do get a small commission with any purchases that you make if you use my discount code or click on my link below. It helps them see how much traffic is going to their site from my channel. So I will continue to work on what I can and share them with you when I get a chance to get things done. But I appreciate the likes, subscribes, all that good stuff. It really does help my channel, and it's free. So thank you for waiting this long and making it all the way through the end. And I will update you soon. So thank you for watching.